guys, and welcome to today's video. I've had a lot of demand, a lot of requests from people wanting to know exactly how I've been losing the weight that I've been losing, and the fact is I can't explain it in 5 seconds, so the easiest thing to do is videos for you guys so that you can also replicate that if that's what you're choosing to do at home. So today's video I wanted to talk to you guys about just a really basic beginner's shopping list. Just give you guys an idea of some of the things that I stock and keep in my pantry that'll certainly help you along in terms of the high-fat, low-carb diet. So starting over here with the types of proteins we're going to be looking at, and I've got frozen salmon portions. These things come ideally in little individual packets, which I find super convenient. That makes it a lot easier than, of course, the fresh salmon in there. We've got some lovely steak, we've got pepperoni. Now, what I want to mention to you guys, when you're considering your shopping list, it is super important that you check out the nutritional label, because when you've got a label, let me find one that's actually a little easier for you guys to read. So if we have a look at this one here, when you look at nutritional labels, you really want to make sure that you look at the 100 grams or the 100 mils column down here, and you want to be keeping your carbohydrates and your sugar under 5 grams. That is, I cannot tell you how important that is. In that per 100 section, you need to keep carbohydrates and sugar under 5 grams. That applies to absolutely everything from meats to cheeses to everything that you're going to come in contact with. So that gives you a guide for your nutritional panels as you're shopping. Now, going back to the meats, you can have your cabanas. Be careful with cabanas. They're not all created equal, and this one here is really quite good with your carbs, as I was just mentioning, but I've seen a lot of them that are quite high in carbs, depends on what they've put in there. You can have bacon, guys. Bacon is totally on the menu, and that sort of covers your meat. You can have chicken thighs, you can have any sort of protein that you think that you're feeling like. Now, when it comes to your protein, a quick mention is that your serving size is around about the palm of your hand. That's what you're going to be aiming for with your meals. And moving along, you've got eggs. Eggs are absolutely super fantastic. Hot chooks, oh my god, I survived on hot chook the first week. It is my go-to, and I will tell you a bit more about that in another video. We've got spinach leaves, and we've got lettuce leaves, all the good stuff, and we've got tons of broccoli. Now, these are not by any means the only vegetables that you can have, but they're what I chose to start with, and since this video series is about what's been working for me, that's what I'm going to go with for this for you guys. We have avocados. Guys, you can have avocados, and some of you are going to go, and others are going to go, ooh. Depends on where you sit on that. But they are a fantastic source of good oil. Moving on to your dairy type stuff, cheese is absolutely on the menu, but even though we don't count calories in high fat, low carb, you still want to be aware of how much cheese you're consuming, because it is very high in calories. So we have everything from grated cheese to block cheese. Again, making sure you're checking all your panels. You can have creamy brie and camembert, but just make sure again you're checking that panel. We've got thickened cream in both forms, the dollop and that. I tend to have a preference for this one, to be honest. This one lasts longer, but this one tends to taste nicer. Now, be careful with your creams again on those nutritional side of things, because they're not all created equal either. Butter is like a staple. Butter, ghee, coconut oil, olive oil. I didn't get the olive oil out, but olive oil is definitely something that you want to have down here. And you can use cream cheese in your cookings for recipes down the track. We've also got some mayonnaise, which is absolutely brilliant. Again, make sure you're checking those labels, because some of the ones in squeezer bottles, and oh, don't look at those carbs, they're shocking. Moving on to the nuts side of things. Now, nuts are totally something that you can have. Macadamia nuts are by far the best. And the almonds are okay. They are higher though in caloric value than the macadamia nuts. So alternate between the two. Ultimately, you're going to decide what you want to eat based on what results you want to take home with you. So the other thing that you're going to need to do, because obviously on a high fat, low carb, you're going to be swapping out your flours, and you're going to be swapping out all the things that you traditionally would cook with. So almond meal, this one here, I buy that from my local IGA. It is what I use basically for any substitute for flour. Now in some instances, you might be wanting to make something that's got a bit of thickness or creaminess to it down the track, and that's where you can add your psyllium husks. There's something that certainly help to add a little bit of thickness and consistency to basically to your recipes. This is a little more down the track. For your first week, you're not going to need to know about that, but there's certainly good things to have on hand, along with your linseed meal, which is flax meal. It's called a few different things. Your Himalayan pink rock salt, that's a brilliant thing to have on hand. The last thing I'm going to cover is obviously high fat, low carb. The whole process and the whole point of it is to basically almost zero out your carbs, although 20 grams and under is what you want to aim for if you're going strict. And you definitely want to cut out all refined sugars, anything like that. So for everybody who's a coffee lover or needing to replace their sugar, I use this stevia here. Certainly stevia is something that you'll want to get used to if you haven't encountered it before, and I'll talk more about that in another video as well. The only other thing I would absolutely recommend is the magnesium. Now this is the one that I use. It's a powdered form and it is most easily absorbed by the body. Be careful when you're buying any kind of magnesium or supplement. You want to make sure that it is in a state that's easily absorbed by the body. That's a really crucial point for you guys to make. And that covers basically what I would buy on my shopping list, obviously, with the olive oil. We'll cover my first week in another. Guys, thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video. I hope you found it helpful. I know that it can be overwhelming when you're starting a new diet or a lifestyle change, as I prefer to call it. And the aim of this video is to give you at least some idea of how to proceed moving forward. If you got some value out of this, please comment, like, and share this video with your friends. And I'll see you again in another video. Thank you.